ripped loose, and Texas Tech says they've got it.
Oh my goodness.
And they do. Brooks will get the handoff, squirts through, and Brooks is going to finish it off here with a touchdown run of 32 yards. And the Red Raiders, barring something really crazy now, are going to go to 3-0 in the conference.
Honestly, I think there's been pressure on these kids since last January. I don't know that that's any more specific after the loss. And that's something that, you know, we're trying to help them work through because it's not something they've experienced before, right? Not here. So that's a new experience for them. So that's definitely something that we're working through with the team. And the good thing is that I do believe we have great senior leadership on this team and just good leadership throughout all the classes. And everyone's working together to try and block out the outside noise and stay focused on what we have to do right now and not worry about what's down the road. we have too much scheme. Our ability to execute what we're doing is based on how well we know it.
Continue to take responsibility for that. It's my job to get our offense going, to get us in a rhythm and keep us in a rhythm. So I feel like every time we got something going, I would make a mistake or two that stalls the drive. So I take full responsibility.
And what's your message to T-Mac after that fumble there at the end?
That's not on him. I made two mistakes. I mean, way more than two mistakes, but two turnovers that put us in that position. So just kind of telling him he's one of the main reasons we were in that position in the first place offensively. He got a lot of drives going for us, and then obviously the high caliber player he is. So just continuing to tell him to keep his head up. Just trying to get this offense going.
people, and the, when we're talking about his process and his decision making, I think there's some things that we can fix, but I also think, to me, that's coaching. And we're the ones that have to get him in the right place with his progression and delivering the ball on time. And that's on us.
It's time to take our first look at today's game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com.
Yeah, Kalani and I worked together in 2015 at Oregon State, and we lived in the same neighborhood. And he's one of my favorite people on the planet. He's just an incredible human being. He's a great father, great husband, great football coach. And it was so fun because our kids would just run around the neighborhood. It's 10 years ago now. So, my oldest was 11. So, 11, 9, and 7. And so they were just running the neighborhood, our two families. And it was great. They'd show up at their house for dinner, and then they'd send them, the whole crew would end up at our house for ice cream. It was a really fun existence. His wife, Timberly, is just an awesome person. So just fantastic people.
BYU was our rival when I was at the University of Hawaii back in '81. So I lined up against Jim McMahon, Steve Young, and Robbie Bosco. So I've been in that gym. That is an exciting yard to play in. So I'm excited to get back there. It's a great environment.
Dwayne Akina's been around football for a long, long time. He's a legend in the business, and so being Polynesian growing up, you knew what he was doing. I mean, he's one of the originated, one of the OGs, one of the original guys that have been in coaching, and so a lot of us, especially on the defensive side, really appreciate him and his mentorship as we kind of grew up in the profession. He was always kind and always accommodating to all of us, and so it's been awesome just to have him, to have him around and see what he's doing with that defense. He's done an amazing job with his staff.
What is the combination between Noah Fafita and Taylor Owen McMillan? What makes it so effective?
It's always deadly. It's always dangerous because you can see they have a great connection. But that was back when they're in high school together, So I've watched Noah as he's played and watched all the film on him, and has a great demeanor, great great command of the field, and he's super tough, man. He makes some tough throws, and he's got an elite awareness and ability and IQ, and so you combine that with McMillan's ability to go up and catch the ball and to get open.
That's our first look at the game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way. casinos. First Chiropractic, Jack Thurrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polson Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans. And they now accept patients with excess insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Make Dave & Buster's a part of your weekly rituals. Military Monday, get extra gameplay on your card. Tuesday night is trivia night with great prizes. Thursday is extra credit with student discounts on gameplay after 9 p.m. Stop in Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials. Want more? Rewards members will get an extra 100 chips with the purchase of 100 chips and Sunday sips for hospitality workers. Full and quick service restaurants, hotels, and amusement parks. Discounted beverages and apps after 9 p.m. only at Dave & Buster's.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer-installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of U of
intercepted. Was he inbounds? Yes. Picked off near corner of the end zone, and the Red Raiders will take over. Second interception thrown by Fafita tonight. McMillan, the intended man, pass well beyond him. And, boy, again, the Wildcats had a drive going, and they turned it over.
I think our confidence comes from our preparation, and his preparation has been so good, right? And, a week ago, he throws a couple incredible balls that win us that game, and so I think that's one of the dangers of the game is letting the outcome dictate how you feel about yourself and not being objective about the mistakes that we made and fixing those, right? So I think for Noah, his preparation is always extremely on point. He's such a competitor. He's such a great leader. And he's also one of those guys that always wants to take accountability for not getting the job done, which is, I think, why the team loves him, why we all love him, and why we would do anything for him.
Trying to get the ball to T-Mac sometimes is just it's overwhelming for him because he tries to get his guy the ball. It's his former high school teammate. So I just think he just has to settle down. The coaches have to settle him down and run plays that will put him in a good position to be successful. Though some of those quick throws, like they got to Burnett early where he went in motion, came off the ball, hit him for the little 5-yard pass. You got to get some screens in there. You got to get some passes in there where the guy could settle down and feel comfortable. Easy throws, as we call them, to get him comfortable in the rhythm of the game.
And running the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Running the ball.
You
know that. I know.
You know how I feel about that.
Running the ball, and then on first down, we have to get 3 to 4 yards. We got to get that. It's putting him in a bad situation in second and third and long. We have to get him out of that situation. So then that way he's thinking, okay, if it's second and 10, he's got pressure on him. He's got to let's get first. And first down, you get 4 or 5 yards, and then we have no pressure gets relieved after that. So we got to be able to get those small little yards at the first and second down.
And as I said, it don't always have to be run because run ain't always sexy to people because of how they crowd the box with 8 and 9 guys. But that quick screen, that quick bubble route, something to get the ball in the hands of your athletes so they can get some positive yards so you can get ahead of the sticks.
All right, Matt Atkins is calling the plays now. We kind of discussed that a little bit last week when we heard from Dino Babers about the decision that was made prior to last weekend's game. We had a chance to hear from Matt Atkins and get his side of how the change in play calling duties happened.
How did that opportunity come up? I'll keep some of those conversations internal. The only thing that I'll say is that ever since Coach Babers has arrived, he has been awesome and nothing but supportive and somebody that I can lean on in a lot of different ways, not just football, but also outside of football. Especially the way that came up and the way that he handled it was something that I hope that I have enough that I am able to handle those situations the same way he did whenever they come across my desk, because he has been absolutely fantastic, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate him. And then outside of that, just, excited at the opportunity. And it's something I feel like I've been preparing my whole entire life for. And so to finally get that opportunity was was just a lot of excitement.
Now, I expressed my skepticism on this whole thing last week, and just judging by what Matt Atkins said right there, when he said, I appreciate the way that Dino Babers handled the situation, that doesn't sound to me like this was something that was pre-planned like they're telling us it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was pre-planned, but I think he was Coach Brennan's guy. That he wanted to call the plays, and then all of a sudden they got Coach Babers. I mean, they were able to get someone like Coach Babers. So, of course, with the guy with that type of experience, you give him the keys first and just to see what's going on. But, when all the things started happening, I mean, where they were, saying that the offense wasn't running, I mean, I felt like Coach Babers and Coach Brennan did the most Coach Tomey thing ever. I know people hate me bringing up that name, but I don't care. That's my people. I'm going to say what I want. And so, anyway, they did the most Coach Tomey thing ever and be selfless. And it's about the team. And if the team needed to change, if Coach Brennan felt like that's what he needed to do, that's the way it has to go. And to me, Coach Babers being the most Coach Tomey guy ever, being that he played for him in college at Hawaii, coached with him, forever as far as coaching is concerned, I just felt like he did what was best for the team. I mean, he put himself second to the team. And as a former head coach at a few stops, Coach Babers was, he understands that sometimes you have to make moves that are uncomfortable for the individual, but best for the team.
There you go. That's a great way to put it right there, Kelvin Ifan. Obviously, you've been in that situation. From knowing these guys when you were a player and knowing that process that they learned under from the guy and Coach Tomey that they all admire.
And I'll add a little bit to that. The best season in school history record-wise, 12-1, we had a lot of that going on. Keith Smith was the quarterback. You changed the OJ to quarterback. Trung was the starter. Then you put me, Dennis Norcutt, Jeremy McDaniel. Great teams have different guys that could take on different roles, and sometimes that goes into the coaching staff. I mean, Coach Babers was the running back coach. Then he turned into the offensive coordinator. I mean, it's just, and that's where he got his first offensive coordinator job here at Arizona. So for this 30 years later, for this to happen, it's kind of full circle for Coach. But at the same time, if you're a coach and you believe in winning, and it's the same thing you tell the kids, the next guy up, you tell the kids if we need another guy to fill in for another guy, we have to do it. I mean, that's just the way it goes. What was it last year? Noah took over for Delora. Yeah, right. He never. Yeah, it's just how football is. So I just think that Coach Babers did what is expected of the athletes.
Yeah, and nothing good ever happens without sacrifice. Okay, you always have sacrifice that's happening on good teams. Yeah. They do a lot of things internally that sometimes we don't even see. We won't even see those kinds of things. And these guys are, as a player, it's really, really tough to do.
And interestingly enough, obviously, when you look at that from that standpoint, Matt Atkins trying to figure out now with the keys in his hand how to get this quarterback going. Let's hear from him on what he thinks Noah Fifita needs to do to kind of grind through these struggles he's having right now.
I know that at times he needs to just trust the progression and trust where his eyes should be and trust the information that the defense is giving him. And I'm sure you guys have been around him enough. There's not another guy in the country I would want to play quarterback for me. I have a blast coaching him, his energy, the type of young man he is, and I feel confident that he's going to move in the right direction on that.
How do you help a quarterback along that I don't want to say get tunnel vision at times, but maybe too much of the process out there on the football field and is going to T-Mac or is going to this guy? Because he has missed a couple open guys, and it seems like it's just dogpiling where he's playing a little too hard at times.
Yeah. It's reps. It's reps. It's reps, and then getting him to understand where those eye progressions should go. And the other part is trusting the scheme, trusting the personnel to get himself through the progression. Because we've left a couple things out there the last couple weeks, and I promise you this: there's no one in the building that knows it more than number 11, and there's nobody in the building that takes it more serious than number 11. And that's why I have such confidence that we will get it going in the right direction.
All right, Matt Atkins, the play caller now, the passing game coordinator and the tight ends coach here at the University of Arizona, talking about how he feels about Noah Fifita and the confidence that he has in Noah. And we talked in the first segment about something Brent Brennan had said. And Kelvin, we'll kind of get your thoughts on this as well. Brent came out this week and said that we might have too much scheme offensively, and we may need to dial that back.
Any coordinators across the country, and that's always a conversation about what's the right amount, what's too much, and we are constantly having discussions about it as a staff, trying to figure out the right amount, in terms of certain categories. As we look back on it, I think we felt good about the scheme that we carried, and a little bit of those conversations about what do we do in the week to make sure that we're more solid within those schemes, to where we're still presenting challenges to the defense, but we make sure that we are lock solid without missed assignments on our side.
And that was obviously Matt kind of talking about that whole thing right there. If he was asked if they felt like they were carrying too much scheme. Do you see that maybe as being the case, that they're overcomplicating this offense for these guys right now?
I mean, I wouldn't think so because we're on the outside looking in, so we wouldn't really know. I mean, and I think when you hear a coach say he need more repetitions, I would say yes, because that means that they're putting plays in that they're not practicing enough to have a full understanding for. So yes, I would say from that standpoint, yes, because you want plays that your guys have rep. Now it comes back to this though. For everybody forgetting that this is basically his third offensive coordinator now. Mm-hmm. So now you're and it's the same offense, so second offense, but at the same time you're trying to get used to the offensive coordinator. You're trying to trust the offensive coordinator that he's putting you in position to make plays, and I think the biggest thing is understanding that connection that he has with T-Mac and figuring out a way to make sure that he has throws that he can target to T-Mac that he feels comfortable with, because if not, he's going to force it to him. So to me, that's the biggest issue, coming up with schemes and making sure that he understands who's the number one target on that play, because it looks like he's looking for his guy more than he's looking for the open guy.
All right, we'll hear a little bit more from Matt Atkins coming up later about just that and how to get other guys the ball beside Tetairoa McMillan. It is Arizona Game Day. Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day coming to you live from Corbett's Off 4th. The doors are open early on this Saturday. I imagine they might be next week because we've got a 1 o'clock game. We won't be here next Saturday, but I'm sure they'll be here early to make sure that you are ready for the game next Saturday. Homecoming against Colorado. Colorado is on the field today looking to stay unbeaten in the Big 12. They'll host Kansas State. That should be a good one on the ledger. A lot of good football games on the ledger on the college side today. We'll dive into those when we get to the scoreboard a little bit later as well. And that is our look at the Arizona Wildcats offense.
That's the Wildcats Offensive Scouting Report. The Offensive Scouting Report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Much more straight ahead. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, along with Kelvin Efon, Glenn Hound, David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion. JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Was your AC struggling to keep up this summer? We all know what happens to a car if it doesn't get a regular oil change. Your air conditioner is no different. Regular maintenance increases efficiency and reduces the chance of catastrophic failure. Take advantage of Rightway's $65 AC tune-up special. Our experts will perform a 42-point inspection, ensuring your AC runs like new. We'll even check for refrigerant leaks at no charge. Call Rightway at 520-549-1914 for your $65 AC tune-up.
Come out to Dave & Buster's, the best place outside of the stadium to see the games this football season. Monday and Thursday, get all-you-can-eat wings with game card for $19.99. Sunday, get in on the chance to win a big game watch party at Dave & Buster's in front of the big screen, plus other big prizes and weekly winners. Join them now through October 22nd, all day, every day. They'll be offering $5 22-ounce drafts only at Dave & Buster's. Make Dave & Buster's your place to watch the games.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Let's go in the huddle with Arizona letterman Glenn Howell. In the huddle with Glenn Howell is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, with over 25 years serving Arizona.
Welcome into this week's edition of In the Huddle with Howell, presented by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. I'm University of Arizona tight end Glenn Howell, class of 1985, and I'd like to everybody in Wildcat Nation to welcome my guest, my boy, my buddy, Mr. Jim Krampos. He's the University of Arizona Associative AD of Sports Performance. Jim, how you doing?
Doing good. Appreciate you giving me a call.
Hey, we're really happy to have you on, and everybody listening out there. Jim Krampos is just a legend. He is everybody that when I posted your stuff on Facebook, man, everybody was like, he's the man, he's the dude, he's the legend, the myth, the legend, everything. All that stuff is accolades for you, Jim, and obviously you've done a great job at the University of Arizona in the sports performance and other places you've been. How long have you been doing this kind of thing?
25 years. 25 years. So started at the University of Arizona under the Tomey regime, actually. So as an intern, and been around since then.
So tell us a little bit about what your role is at the University of Arizona as an Associative AD of Sports Performance.
Yeah, I think first of all, thinking about how much we've expanded this area and how much it's grown over my career here, where, when I first started here, like I said, under the Tomey era in the late 90s, we had 3 full-time strength and conditioning coaches, 0 dietitians, a couple interns, a couple GAs that helped out with all the teams. Now we have 13 full-time strength coaches, and we have 4 full-time dietitians, and just the quality of care, the sports specificity, the sports science component, the sports-specific training and thought process, has increased tremendously. So it's much level higher of care for our athletes, much more holistic approach, and much more collaborative approach. So, my job every day is really just helping out staff members with maybe a little bit less experience with teams. A lot of times we hire a strength and conditioning coach, and for a lot of them, they haven't played the sports they might be training. They might not have been a diver or a tennis player or something like that. So helping them understand the demands of the sport, common sites of injuries, energy system demands, conditioning demands of the sport, and just really helping them be good with people. Helping everybody. You got to be great with the athletes. You got to be an interpreter for the coach. You got to help the coach understand, the sport coach understand what we're doing and why it's important and how it's going to help their team be better on the field or the court or the pool or whatever that is. So we have a great staff here. Obviously, football staff has been amazing. The new football staff, Colin Carroll and his staff, do a tremendous job with those guys, and really just do a high-level, very detail-oriented approach that it's been awesome to see implemented. And the rest of our staff, Chris Rounds with men's basketball, obviously been here since 2009, does an amazing job with those guys. We're always one of the biggest, strongest teams in the conference, if not in the country. And the rest of the staff at the Olympic sports, we've had a lot of success as a department, and it's because of their hard work and their dedication and their thoughtfulness into what we're doing.
Associate of AD and head of sports performance, Jim Crompos is our guest in the Huddle with Hal. Brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for over 25 years. So, Jim, when did you have that thing click in your mind that you wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach? When did that happen?
Funny, because I wrestled at Phoenix College. They cut the program. I came down here to U of A, for my undergrad, and I had always wanted to go to U of A. Even growing up in Phoenix, my neighbor, when I was growing up, was a U of A football alumni, and so he got me on the U of A bandwagon as a young kid, and I had gone to games and always wanted to be here. And I went down here, and I was looking at trying to figure out what my life was going to be. And I met one of the strength and conditioning coaches at the time over at the rec center, of all places. And I didn't even realize that this was a career path. And he said, why don't you come over and start interning with me? And I started interning, and it was just an awesome experience to be around the teams, to help them get better. And I was always kind of that athlete that, because I trained hard and because I enjoyed training hard and doing stuff in the weight room, it helped close that gap from my lack of athletic ability to be able to compete at a fairly high level. And I knew the importance of it, and it just kind of all came together when I had that experience to start interning and be like, oh, this is a great job. This is amazing. And even back then, it's always long days, right? It's teams are trained at 6 a.m. Teams are trained at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So, but there was never a point where I felt like I didn't have energy and wasn't excited about being around and doing all the things to help these teams and learning this and learning different sports and how to train them and how to be efficient. Something I always was very passionate about. So very lucky to find a career that I really enjoy. And it's just amazing to be around really motivated, healthy, top-end athletes every day and help them get better. So, I was hooked really early on.
And I agree with you. And I always say, my saying is, the day you know everything is the day you know nothing. You got to continue to, I always, when I go to strength and conditioning conferences. I go to yours all the time when you have it at the University of Arizona. It's constant learning because the science is constantly changing over time. And, in a lot of our kids, when they're coming to the University of Arizona. And a lot of kids are really, really nervous. They're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. When I get there, the strength can do. I don't know what the strength coach is like. What is the process? Tell us what the process. So our kids out there that are listening, and mom and dads that are listening, what is the process of when a new athlete comes to the University of Arizona? What happens to them when you get that new athlete?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, first they start off with more of a medical screening, right? They're going to spend extensive time with our medical team, our docs, our trainers who do an amazing job here. And they're going to go through some screening. And a lot of these screening they've never been through before. So we're trying to maybe find make sure that whatever we're going to start doing as a performance team is going to be safe for them. Make sure there's no heart rate issues or anything like that, identifying if a student athlete is sickle cell or any of those type of medical conditions that we got to be aware of before we start really pushing them. And then they're going to go through a battery of assessments with the performance staff, with the strength conditioning coaches. They're going to look at their mobility. They're going to look at their power. They're going to look at how they move. There'll be some very sport-specific tests, and there's going to be some tests that everybody's using as well. So we utilize a lot of technology. They could have – everybody's going to be on the force plates. We're going to look at their single-leg jumps, their double-leg jumps. And every time they do a jump on those force plates, we get about 50 different metrics that we can look at, and we'll break that down per sport, what's important, what's not. And then we're going to look at and say, okay, well, what are – our program is going to be based off of kind of three areas, right? What does this kid need individually? What does the student athlete need individually? What imbalance does he have? What injury does he or she have that may never have recovered all the way? What strength deficits do they have? We'll start building the program around that. And then we're going to look at what the sport demands and then the position demands in the sport. Because, for soccer, for example, our goalies, our keepers have much different demands than our field players. My pitchers have different demands than our position guys. So, and then there'll be a conversation with the coach and the sports coaching staff.
I think that's the key is what they want, what the coaches want to see improvement on.
No question, because they're going to want. Some coaches might want more of a conditioning aspect. Some might more of a strength, depending on style of play and what they want to do and how they're going to attack things. So, there's all these things, and then putting that puzzle together, and then a lot of coaching, a lot of teaching. Teaching the athletes, same as the coach, why this is important, and really pushing them to do things that they're not going to do on their own, right? Pushing them. We know their capabilities generally more than them, and just helping them realize that. So it's about pushing them, helping them continually get better, but obviously not pushing them off the edge where they're overtraining or restrain something or something like that. So it's a delicate balance.
Jim Krampos, Associate of AD of Sports Performance, is our guest in the Huddle with Hal, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for over 25 years. So, Jim, one of the big things that I always, because I had a daughter, you have a daughter, this is another thing is that a lot of times that, I talk to parents who said, should the girls be lifting? Should they, and I'm like, yeah, I think they should. I think they really should. Do you think that strength and conditioning is important for a junior high and a high school girl?
Yes. I mean, those are at the end of the day, you can look at the data. The numbers are all there, right? Female athletes, because of their hip angles and because of other biological differences, are more prone for knee issues and other injuries. And so, if they have the correct training characteristics of strength, stability, mobility, power, right? That's why we train, to keep people healthy, to keep people on the field primarily, right? That's the first thing, but then also improve performance. So what I always say to the young people is, even just doing body weight stuff a couple times a week to start to build that work capacity, joint stability, start to teach the nervous system how to be more efficient in your movement patterns. Just doing body weight stuff and being consistent with it a couple times a week can really decrease injuries, improve performance, and all the characteristics of why we train, improve tendon ligament strength, improve joint health, bone health, and ultimately produce more force, right? That's what most of these sports are about. Who can produce the most force in the shortest amount of time? And resistance training, whether that's even starting off with body weight or light weights, is a huge factor in improving that.
Jim, you're a level 3 stretch specialist, okay? You have all these other different certifications and everything. And if you look at Jim Krampus, if you go to the Arizona website, you can see all the different certifications he has. You're a level 3 stretch specialist, and how important is stretching and flexibility? Because, stretching, I put that as a question, is stretching and flexibility. Is there a difference? There's a difference between the two, right?
Yeah, stretching, mobility is mobility and that flexibility. So, thinking of stretching as more of like one plane, one movement plane, a great way to increase muscle length, to have that proper muscle length. And then mobility is how the joint moves and how the joint moves properly. And with both, if you're doing a good job with both those things, what you eliminate is bad motor patterns, right? So we have some muscles that tend to be, or that are going to be your prime movers, that are going to produce more force. And you have some muscles that are more stabilizers that don't produce as much force, but keep the body in proper dynamics. If you become more tight and less mobile, you start to get an imbalance between those muscle groups. And then once you have those imbalances, that's when you tend to have decreased neuromuscular output. You're not getting the primary muscles to do the things we want them to do, which is produce force. You start to have joint pain. You start to have abnormal forces around the joint, either above it and below it. So that's the biggest thing I think I see with young athletes, and even our young athletes here. Yeah, you need to train. We're going to train. We need to push you, but you need to keep your muscles at an optimal length-tension relationship so they're producing force and not getting too flexible where you're now unstable. They're not getting so tight that you don't have good motor patterns. So that's a huge part of what we're doing. Most of our athletes spend at least 20, 30 minutes a day with us doing mobility, flexibility, sport-specific, joint-specific mobility and flexibility work.
Yeah, Jim, I got one more quick question for you. Here it is which athlete is easier to develop? Is it an athlete that has had limited strength and conditioning in their background, or an athlete that has extensive strength and conditioning in their background? So you got a kid that comes in that doesn't have very much, doesn't have very much strength and conditioning from high school, or then you got another kid that has a lot of strength and conditioning. What do you think is the better to develop?
Well, I would say this, that like the best is somebody who's had some strength and conditioning, but hasn't been exposed to a lot of really high-end training methodologies incorrectly.
Yes.
But in this kind of, the example I might use is some of our male athletes come in and they've done a lot of pressing and curling, but they haven't done enough back stuff. And so they have issues with their shoulders and their joints. Imbalances, right. So, obviously with a young person that comes in, if they're balanced and they haven't been doing anything, well, yes, they're going to make greater gains in that first year that they're here because they haven't done anything, right? We're going to teach their nervous system to be more efficient. On average, an athlete might gain, let's just say 100 pounds on their squat max the first year they're here. Well, obviously they're not going to gain 100 pounds every year that they're here. Not everybody's going to be a 800-pound squatter by the end of their career, right? And they don't need to be.
Yeah.
So I think the combination of somebody who's done some stuff well, but hasn't done a bunch of crazy stuff and a bunch of neurologically demanding things, so we can have like a good base and we can work with them and get them exposed correctly to some of these higher training methodologies, that's what we're looking for. But in general, I'd like to have somebody who comes in who's just a really good athlete, who's a blank canvas, who they've just kind of been a multi-sport athlete, and they have good nervous system and good hand-eye coordination, those type of things. You know, those kids will thrive very quickly as other athletes come in on balance. Now we got to spend some time correcting them, getting them in the proper posture, body mechanics, those type of things.
Well, man, Jim, I tell you what, we could do a whole show. Maybe we ought to do a podcast, man, because it's like, you know, I mean, it's just awesome listening to you. And thank you very much for coming on. We want to thank Jim Krompos, Associate AD of Sports Performance at the University of Arizona. We want to thank you for joining us this week, Jim. I really appreciate you, my brother, and coming in on In the Huddle with Howell.
My pleasure. Go Cats, bear down, and let's get this done today.
I hear you. Bear down, brother. See ya.
That's In the Huddle with Howell. In the Huddle with Glenn Howell is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, with over 25 years serving Arizona.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer-installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Make Dave & Buster's a part of your weekly rituals. Military Monday, get extra gameplay on your card. Tuesday night is Trivia Night with great prizes. Thursday is extra credit with student discounts on gameplay after 9 p.m. Stop in Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials. Want more? Rewards members will get an extra 100 chips with the purchase of 100 chips and Sunday sips for hospitality workers. Full and quick service restaurants, hotels, and amusement parks. Discounted beverages and apps after 9 p.m. only at Dave & Buster's.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona.
With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway and discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Touchdown, Arizona, Gunnar Maldonado. Noah straight back to throw. Got him in. Hot! Touchdown, Arizona. He's sacked by Jacob Manu. And it's picked off. Trayton Stukes. Nobody close to Tetaroa McMillan.
Let's go. Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to kickoff for today's Arizona football game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Let's hear from Genesis Smith and one of the things, the big plays that he made in last week's game.
Need 9 here. Kelly in motion left to right. Horton back to throw. Steps up. Fires the pass. Knockdown. Incomplete. Beautiful defensive play for Arizona. I tell you what, that was needed. Absolutely needed to make it 4th down. Genesis Smith.
What a play by Genesis Smith, boy. He broke on that ball. Almost got a pick out of it. Beautiful defense by Arizona.
And that is a guy that the Wildcats are going to have to be depending on moving forward. Genesis Smith, as he takes over for the injured Trayton Stukes, who we found out is going to be out for the remainder of the season this week. And we talked about that at the top of the show, the loss of Stukes for the year. Gunnar Maldonado not expected to play today. No final word on the rest of the season for him. But Genesis Smith has proven, and we knew that, this was going to be a young man that was going to be very difficult to keep off of the field with the way that he's playing. I had a chance to catch up with Genesis this week, and I asked him about how this defensive back room is getting over the losses of Gunnar Maldonado and Trayton Stukes.
Yeah, no, they're definitely key pieces in our room. It was tough initially. Still is tough, but that just means new people got to step up. We got a lot of young guys willing to step up, and I think they're ready for the job. And I think Trayton and Gunnar, they're really still playing a big part in the leadership role in the room.
How would you describe how you've developed your ability to break on the football? We saw the play in the first half on the screen. You kind of snuffed out, and then there was the 3rd down play in the second half where you were able to dive and get the deflection. How have you been able to kind of develop that skill?
I feel like it's really just been being in the playbook more, knowing what I have to do before the play starts, and then knowing what the offense, like their tendencies, their scheme. So just thinking of the possibilities of what could happen before it does happen. And I feel like that's how I've been getting some good jumps on some of the plays.
Well, guys, it's very interesting. You talk about this whole concept of DB versus cornerback safety and his ability to break on the football. He's got really what I call cornerback ball skills. Do you think that eventually we could see him maybe playing a boundary cornerback position for this team? Does he have that level to be able to maybe ascend to?
Yeah, I think Genesis has got great hips. I think you got to have great hips as a corner. You got to be able to turn your hips. You got to be able to get that torso turned and being able to look back. And I think he has all those kind of skills. I think, but we don't know what's going to happen the next couple of weeks as far as the injuries, because football is injuries.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. And it's comfortable to say that he can step into that position. And Coach Akina really is high on him. And if Coach Akina is high on him, then, we know he can do the JOB.
We had a chance also to hear from Coach Akina, who had some powerful words to say this week about the loss of Traden Stukes.
Yeah, that's a sad situation, for the young man. And I'm not going to slight, the value he has for this football team, because he's very important to this football team as a model, as a player, his unselfishness. When you see him in the Utah game, hurry up, trainers, I got to get out there. I mean, he's taking notes on the sideline. A guy that should be feeling sorry for himself and about his feelings, he is just finding another way to help us win football games. One of the young players missed an assignment on a big play there. Stukes had notes. By the time I got in at halftime, I said, hey, RC, draw it up. He said, Coach, Stukes has already gone through it. I mean, you just can't have that kind of models in your program. And that's the culture that we've worked hard to build within the DB room, but also in the defensive room. And I constantly look for ways to have team building experiences, and that is one of the best that you can talk about. And that is going to be an example that will live far beyond 2024. I'll constantly use that as an example of what a great teammate looks like.
Coach, based off what you just said there, I mean, it's so easy for all of you to say next man up, but when you have to replace captains like Traden and Gunnar, how do you do that?
Well, that's just all part of the game. It's one of those situations. We've been through this before. This is the nature of this football game. And as I said with Gunnar, I'm not going to slight that. Those are important pieces to the success of the game and of our football team. But like I said, Manny went out there and had to start at the Utah game and had a hell of a football game, okay? And then Genesis had to come in and play nickel, where his natural position is field safety, when Stukes went down. So it is next man up, and that is your mentality, and that's why you constantly have to preach to your team that you are a play away. And now you got to be prepared. And that's coming from a guy who backed up a first ballot Hall of Famer in Moon, and they expect still the same production out of you. That's the facts. So you always have to be ready. We preach that constantly. And, I know it's a boring saying, but it is the reality. It is the next man up.
What would you say in terms of the progression of Jack Luttrell, what you've seen from him and what you hope he might potentially be able to add if his number is called?
Yeah, Jack is an outstanding athlete, very passionate about the game. And what Jack is learning, like a lot of young players, the game is not played on paper where you run and jump. He's got all those things. The game is played on the grass. And so, many times he's just learning the mental side of the game. Sometimes as young players, you have to go through growing pains. That's the facts of life. And we just got to keep bringing him along. And as coaches, that's where we have to know what can we handle, each player. And I've been spoiled now with Dalton, Gunnar, and Stukes. Those are as high IQ players as I've had. And you stick Manu in the middle of the field, I mean, that's the guts of any sport, is the middle of your defense. I go back to when Willis Reed and Chamberlain, I used to say all that. Now those guys are non-existent, but it's the point guard, or it's the catcher, the pitcher, the shortstop, the center fielder. In hockey, it's the goalie. You got to be strong up inside. And so they have had great models in how to do it with Gunnar and with Stukes and those guys, and we still have Dalton out there. So, all you can do as a coach, as a football team, it is next man up. Let's go play. Somebody put the ball on the ground, blow a whistle. Because BYU will be there. We're going to play.
That is just a few minutes with Dwayne Aquina, defensive coordinator for the Arizona Wildcats.
And listen to that, it just reminded me of one time we was getting ready. I think we was getting ready to go play Washington, and when we won, OJ did the flip, and Coach told me, we're down a few guys and everything like that, and he told us a story of the Buffalo Soldiers, right? I'm for sure I've said this before, maybe a few years ago, but the Buffalo Soldier was in war, and they were carrying the American flag, and they were getting killed, and they kept dropping the flag, but the next guy kept picking up the flag and kept marching. I mean, I get goosebumps still to this day thinking about it, listening to them and thinking of how Coach Tomey would have motivated us, telling us who's going to be the next guy to pick up the flag. And that's what this situation is. I mean, Coach Aquina comes from Coach Tomey's era, and I'm sure they're saying some of the same thing. Who's going to be the next guy up? Who's going to be the next guy ready to make a play?
And another thing with Coach Aquina, if you didn't pick that up, is that he said that Jack Luttrell is everything you want on a piece of paper.
Right.
He can jump, he can run, he can do everything, but it's on the grass. There's a lot of great. You've seen him. Yeah. You've seen the guy on your team. You're like, this dude's fast. He gets strong. He
Scout
can
team
jump.
All-American.
Yeah, scout team. I mean, like, this guy is just unbelievable. But he can't play football. We had a couple of those guys. We had a guy on our team that was just so strong, so fast. Couldn't play a lick of football. Okay, couldn't play. Okay, you just gotta have those skills. But he's saying that Jack has all the skills to do it, and he's getting better. So Dwayne would not say anything like that if he didn't think the kid was going to be good.
All right, that is our look at things happening on the defensive side of the ball for your Arizona Wildcats.
And that's a look at the Wildcats' defensive scouting report for today's game.
Back to throw. Here comes the rush again. He's sacked by Jacob Manu.
Today's defensive scouting report is brought to you by Rocking K. Rocking K, Tucson's premier master plan community. This is Arizona football on Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, best bets straight ahead. Glenn, the line has dropped on this game significantly, and I wonder what's behind that.
I don't know.
It was 4.5 yesterday.
It was 4. It started off at 5.
Yeah.
And it's went down to 2.5 now.
Something happened.
Something's going on. Right. And I don't know if it's
Jake Resliff
decides
to
play?
Quarterback.
Yeah, it's the quarterback. That's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I can think of is that there's something going on with that, or that offensive line is somebody's not going to play.
So we'll have our best bets coming up for you straight ahead. We've been watching Big Noon Kickoff here on Fox this morning. A lot of energy in Provo being shown there for today's game. You know they're going to bring it. Kelvin, I understand that the bullpen, we're making the call to the bullpen, and we have a closer for the captain's corner.
Oh, yeah, we got the captain, Barry Baker. Hey, great guy, great teammate. Love having him on every year at least once because, again, Tucsonian that loves the football and love Bear Down.
Yeah, very interesting stuff right there. Always great to hear from Barrett Baker. Who will be that Cougar that gets under the Wildcats' skin today? We'll give you our pest as well, sponsored by University Pest Control. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We are live at Corbett's off 4th. Stop on down. It's a cool Saturday morning, at least to start things out. The doors are open. The food is cooking. And I'm sure the drinks will be flowing here shortly for this 1 o'clock kickoff in Provo. You can drink here. I don't know if you can drink there, but maybe so. They drank a lot of beer at the hockey game this week, so maybe you can drink a lot in Utah. Along with Kelvin Efon and Glenn Howe, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football is getting you closer to kickoff. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature. University Termite and Pest Control. And by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Autumn Nation.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
My drains are clogged again. What should I do? Don't let those clogged drains scare you. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing has a $79 drain and faucet diagnostic service special. We'll get you back in the flow. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice. First
Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto, professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan.
We go with the power eye now. Conley behind Fafita. And there's the handoff. Conley straight up ahead, and I don't think he got it. He didn't get it. And Texas Tech's going to take over the football at its own 20-yard line. Well, they had 4 guys in the backfield when the ball was snapped.
Yeah, we'll dive into that a little bit. There have not been a lot of mistakes by Caden Luke this season, but that was one of them on that 4th down play last week. It is time now for DK with BB, sponsored by nobody. This is the questions that I posed to the head coach this week, and it started with his evaluation of the game from last week.
Brent, in terms of that heavy set where you go to the extra offensive lineman, what are you specifically seeing there up front that maybe you're not getting the push that you'd like in those situations?
Yeah, I think in one of those situations was when we had somebody go the wrong way. Otherwise, on the 4th down play, it would have been a first down. And so that has been a good thing for us this year, that formation. And so I think that's, with some of the shuffling of the deck, with some of the pieces in the offensive line that have kind of swapped out, those guys are getting dinged up or whatever, I think, making sure, trying to give us a chance to run the football effectively, out of that front when we just need to get a yard or we need to get 6 inches. We have to be able to get that. And so, moving guys around in practice and giving them, playing with some possible scenarios of substitution that we experienced Saturday night so that we have a little bit of continuity on that. And it's hard because you don't want to be in that spot, but if someone goes down, sometimes you're moving players around.
How much maybe did that lead into the second half situation where instead of going for it on 4th and 1, you decide to take the 3 points there? Is that some of that in your mind? But we've got guys going the wrong directions, maybe?
In that moment, no. In that moment, I was like, this gives us a chance to take the lead. Tyler was hitting the ball so well. I felt like it was a momentum game there, and so I was just thinking that was our best option.
How did you break down with Noah the interception in the end zone? It looked like he had a couple of better options underneath with Olsen and Connolly in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that's one of those situations where he just has to go through his progression and trust it. Obviously, we all have a ton of faith in T-Mac and his ability to play a vertical ball. And so in that situation, we just have to go through our progression and go where our eyes tell us they should go. The ball needs to go where our eyes tell us it should go.
Noah missed on some passes in that game last Saturday. What are you seeing on some of those balls he's overthrowing the receivers?
Yeah, I think just some of those things where he's escaping or he's kind of been put in a hard spot by some of the pass rush. Noah's always been a really consistent thrower, and I think we expect to see him return to his good form where he's ripping the ball around the yard clean.
Joey Copper got in for a few snaps on offensive line. What did you see? What do you like from what he brought?
Well, I think that's been really pleasant surprise. Joey's a guy that kind of joined us late in the summertime, and he's a really hardworking guy. It's really important to him. He's intelligent, and so that's given him a chance to get in there and know what to do and be right, and hopefully stick on some people. And I think Big Josh is doing a good job coaching that front because we have had a lot of moving pieces there, and I think week in and week out, whoever ends up playing there. Just the same conversation with Gunner and Stukes, like you mentioned earlier, it's another opportunity for someone to step up. It's another opportunity for someone to have a chance to impact the game in a positive way.
Stanley T on defense at Tuoffel, he's giving you some pressure maybe you weren't seeing from some of the other guys early in the season. Why is he maybe being able to be more disruptive at that position than maybe when Chuba was in there?
Well, I think it's a combination of, he's played a lot of football and played at a high level. And so I think that gives, that experience, you just asked me a question about experience, right? That experience, there's value in that. There's value in the reps. Those reps accrue over time and they stack, and you have a better idea of what people are trying to do to you, or you've seen the play come at you before. And so I think Stan's doing a great job of that.
Obviously, Brent, BYU is traditionally an older team. Where do you see that standing out? Are they a team because of that age and experience? They don't make a lot of mental mistakes? Are there places where you can look at and say, yeah, we can really see the difference in the age and the things that maybe they don't do out there that slow them up?
Yeah, I think, having coached against a lot of BYU teams over my career, I think that's one of the things you always notice is that it's an incredibly mature group, right? Like they are... it's not just the age, it's the life experience that goes in front of that age or goes with that age, right? Where, they've been halfway across the world, preaching, the good word in some other place, and like they had to live on their own and they had to grow up and mature. And I think it gives them a newfound love of football. I think it inspires them in that way. And I think the maturity piece is important. We're always talking about trying to, the race to maturity for our own team. By the nature of how that thing is structured there, I think that gives them, some advantages.
The broadcasters on the last game had indicated you shared some stories about some public instances you've had with fans. Are you getting a lot of that type of reaction when you're out, whether it's positive or negative?
I think one of the coolest things about being at the U of A is how much the school is like the heartbeat of the city. You know what I mean? It's just such a big part of the city of Tucson. And so the fact that so many people care is awesome. I mean, that's such an incredible thing. And I think, obviously with my role, I'm going to hear both sides of it, right? If we play well, it's going to be good. If we don't, it probably won't be good. And that's just the way it is, right? And so for me, I think it's different when you're old, you have gray hair, and you've been coaching football for 30 years than when you are 20 years old. I think it's harder on the players, that part of it, than it is me.
All right, that's my conversations with the head coach this week, DK with BB, sponsored by nobody. Let's go back to the top guys, but before we do that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, we started going at the top of the segment talking about the first real big mistake we saw from Caden Luke, who's been in there a lot and went the wrong way on that 4th and 1. He went left when he was supposed to go right and seal that defensive end to give Quali Conley a chance to get that 1 yard they needed.
Yeah, and that was his man that ended up making the tackle. And I was looking at it and trying to see what exactly happened there. And that's why, when you get a chance to look back at the tape, you get to see what really is going on there. And you go back and look at it, it was a great play call. Yeah. And those simple mistakes make you feel like the running game isn't working. And in reality, a guy went the wrong way. Big mistake by the young fella. He's a freshman. You saw him make a real good block on the wrong guy. So I'm sure if he would have, went the right way, he would have smashed that guy over there with a running start. I thought it was a great play design because they had all the guys lined up power to the left side of the quarterback, kind of almost like a pistol situation, and then they was going to roll him back to block on the right side, basically like a pulling tackle. Instead of having a tackle that's not that athletic, pulling, you use the fullback or the H-back or even the tight end to pull across there. So having Luke right there, he would have been a great guy to block right there. But, yeah, tough situation for the young fella. That was a big play right there and another drive that got stalled that we really needed.
Yeah, and the things that happen like that, the small little things, this is the game, as they say, is of inches. You have to be able to make the mental mistakes are what really kill good teams. The mental mistake and the lack of mental mistakes is what make great teams. Mm-hmm. That's what makes the great teams. You see the great Alabama teams, the great Georgia teams, they don't make mental mistakes. They're always in the right place, and then they make sure that the other team makes the mistake. And that's what you have to do. You really got to understand, your alignment and your assignment. That's what you need to know when you come. I used to always say that when I came out of the huddle. What's my alignment? Am I at right side, left side? Am I, off the ball? Am I going in motion? And then my assignment, who I got to get. You always got to understand that before the play starts. Yeah. That's important.
And we got to remember, he's a freshman, and that was a total freshman mistake. Right there. That's something that a freshman would do. He's done a great job of understanding the playbook. He's been praised for it. But at the same time, when you make a mistake like this, coaches have to get on him about that as well, because you grow from situations when you make mistakes like that, and hopefully he don't make another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening around the college football landscape on this second Saturday in October.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. The College Football Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, we'll start with the game last night up the street in Tempe.
With 1 second left, snaps it, gets it to Scadaboo, and Scadaboo breaks free. There he goes. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Devils! Cam Scadaboo for 47 yards right up the middle. Oh, my goodness!
The legend grows.
22 carries, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns for Cam Scadaboo. Tim Healy on the Sun Devils radio network. 27-19, Arizona State knocks off number 16, Utah, who has now lost 2 games in a row. Cam Rising played in that game but did not look very good.
No.
Had no zip on the football, threw 3 interceptions in that game. And all of a sudden, the Sun Devils are 5-1, 1 game from bowl eligibility, 2-1 in the Big 12. And that was a team last year. They lost 55-3-2.
Yeah, Arizona State, I hate to say it, don't never quote me on this. They're playing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
They're playing in that game, and don't want to look ahead. Well, we gotta get ready for that one. That's gonna be a battle because and we're gonna be at home too.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a tough game, man. And hopefully. Adaboo, whatever his name is. Adaboo. So hopefully they run him to death before that game.
Yeah, I was going to change the Arizona State name to the Scadaboo.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about right there, putting the ball in that kid's hand 40 times a game and seeing what happens.
25 carries, 182 against Kansas last week. 22 carries, 158 this week. 3 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. 7 touchdowns rushing on the season. Cam Scadaboo trying to put his name in the ledger for Big 12 Player of the Year right now.
And I was going to say this. What I love about that is this is a kid that did not have one scholarship offer out of high school, went to Sacramento State and got, and did enough there to be able to get a scholarship over here, and now he's doing all these amazing things. I mean, to me, that's one of the things that I love about football is that you can find guys anywhere. I mean, guys are always under recruited, and you find a diamond in the rough.
All right, no finals on the board today, obviously, because it is early, but we've got other games on the schedule today. Cincinnati's at Central Florida. They will play that game in Orlando despite Hurricane Milton coming through earlier this week. Number 11, Iowa State visits West Virginia. That is a battle of 2-0 teams in the Big 12 Conference. And another 2-0 team in conference play is Colorado. And we mentioned earlier they will host number 18, Kansas State, this evening in Boulder. Games in progress right now in the top 25. Number 7, Alabama, trying to redeem themselves from losing to Vanderbilt up early on South Carolina, 14-zip. Number 10, Clemson on the road at Wake Forest, leading 14-7. Clemson sneakingly back in the top 10 at 4-1 and 3-0 in the ACC. And number 21, Missouri, trying to put it on our guy, Dr. Blitz, and UMass. 21-3. Missouri is leading in Massachusetts today. The UMass club just 1-5 under Don Brown so far this season, so things are not going very well there. For the old
Missouri's
defensive coordinator.
Missouri's a little angry.
Losing to Texas A&M last week. The other big game of the day, a lot of big games involving ranked teams. Red River rivalry today, Texas at Oklahoma. And you've got number 2 Ohio State at number 3 Oregon coming up a little bit later in Eugene as well. That's a quick check of your scoreboard.
The College Football Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
Captain's Corner is coming up next with Barrett Baker. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, live from Corbett's off 4th. Stop on by, get you in a round of pickleball here early and some exercise before the Wildcats kick off at 1 o'clock. Along with Kelvin Efon and Glenn Howe, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead, live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans, and they now accept patients with Access Insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer-installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE EAGLE.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Gather up, Wildcats fans. It's time to hear from our captain. It's time for our pregame speech. Captain's Corner is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. And now, here is the captain, Kelvin Ifan.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Captain's Corner, presented by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. I'm Kelvin Ifan. Our guest today is Barry Baker, DB from the class of 1999 here at the U of A. How you doing, Barry?
Ready for a little game day action here, my captain.
Oh, man. Hey, thanks for coming on at the last minute for me, but I knew I could depend on you. Hey, always a great Wildcat, so I'm not surprised you were there for me. First off, tell me how your family's been doing, how everything's going for you here in Tucson.
Oh, everything's really good on this end. I got my oldest daughter in nursing school. I got a senior at Cienega, and my little guy is a freshman at Micah Mountain. So enjoying watching them grow up and hopefully have a positive impact.
Were you at the game last night, Bear? Were you at the Micah Mountain game last night?
I will tell you that my son did go to the game. I feel bad because I love Sly Lewis, and I think he's doing a great job at Pueblo, but obviously Coach Nugent has things really going the way they want to at Micah Mountain. It's a great program, so it should be fun to see how that continues on.
And you mentioned your daughter's in nursing. Your wife's in nursing now too, I understand.
Both of them. So very proud of both of them. A mid-season change, we'll just say that. So my wife and we're a little longer in the tooth. So for her to go back and do something like this and try to make an impact on the world, I'm very proud of both of them, and it's going to be exciting to see them get through this thing. And about 2 years down the road, they will be having a big impact on people.
We always talk about how football prepares us for life. Tell us a little bit about how you being a captain, one of the captains from the football team, helped you become a captain of the fire department.
Well, I think that when people believe in you, you tend to believe in yourself. And, coming a little bit different way that I did, Kelvin, being a walk-on, earning a scholarship, that was a huge deal because, that recognition, like, hey, someone is finally saying this kid's good enough to be worthy of that. That's the first thing. But that's because the coaches believe that. But when your teammates select you as a captain, and I will never forget when you and I were on the field before that practice when they announced yourself as the offensive captain, Chris as the defense. And then when I heard my name, that was life-altering because when you got 100 teammates that believe in some kid that was a walk-on the year before and they say, we want you to be a representative for this team, again, if my teammates believe in me and my coaches believe in me, then it's so easy to believe in myself. And when you believe in yourself, it gets you through the ups and downs of life because we all know it, right? To a person, we all know that life will put it on you sometimes. But again, the confidence to know that you can overcome those things. I think that was what Coach Tomey was great for. And there's so many coaches scattered throughout college football. I think Coach Brennan is doing a great job of building that type of young person to where they can succeed in life. So it's going to be fun to see the Wildcats from 2024, what their impact is when they move forward as well.
And so, as you said, you were a team captain. You walked on to the team. Tell us a little bit about that journey. How did you get to that position to where you could walk on to the U of A? And then after you walked on to the U of A, how did you become a team captain?
Well, I mean, there was some bumps in the road. We'll say that. I was a local kid at Santa Rita. I broke my I dislocated my shoulder my senior year, third game of the year. So obviously that's going to have a pretty big impact on your ability to get recruited. I went to junior college up in Phoenix when they had those, if you can believe that. So I went to Glendale Community College for 2 years, and it was decent. I will say it wasn't same thing. It's not like I had Division I offers knocking on my door. So I walked away from football for a whole year and just came down to go to school. But Kelvin, it's so hard to give up the sport. And when I went to watch you guys play in 1996, and I remember your game particularly against Oregon State, I'm watching in the stands, and I thought, I don't belong in the stands. I feel like I should be out there. And so it's just a risk. And you don't get ahead in life if you don't risk things. So that next spring, I went out and I did the walk-on tryout for Coach Tomey. And I think there was myself and Adrian Koch, obviously had something that they liked or enough athleticism, I guess, at that point. So we got they accepted us as walk-ons. And then from there, and this is where you just have to understand that if there is such thing as 101%, you have to give that every single day because everyone else is giving 100%. And when you're the walk-on, you are going to get passed over. The young kids, the JCs that have scholarships, they're going to get more of a look than you are. You have to know that. But when you get your opportunity, you have to take it. And for me, special teams was that opportunity. And getting to block some punts at Camp Cochise and all those things, that opened the door for me. And that's where I really got noticed. And so Once you get noticed and now you're making an impact there, now you actually start getting, the trust of the coaches. And then when you do that, now your position coach, you start getting a little bit more of the offense or the defense, whatever it may be. So that's it in a nutshell. But, there's ups and downs, and I would tell everybody this story. My senior year, after the third game when we played Iowa, I thought I was starting the next game. And because someone had gotten hurt in front of me, I graded out at like 92%. And Coach Aquina brought me into the office and said, you did everything you could do. I know that you smell blood in the water. I'm going to pull Greg Payne out of his redshirt year and start him ahead of you because I think he's a better athlete. And that hurt so bad at the time. But in hindsight, it's always about the team. And Coach Aquina has always put the team first. Greg Payne went in there. He did a great job for 2 years, went to camp with the 49ers, had a huge impact on the program. But it still goes to show you that the work is never done. Even when you go from walk-on to scholarship to captain to all those things, you're always pressing for that next thing in life. And it's not always going to end up with that fairy tale ending, too. And that's important for people to know, that it's not always the gravy. Sometimes you have the lows, too.
And you were let me see. Phone right here. You were you were a Tucson kid that got a chance to live that dream. How important was that for you, being a kid that's right here from here? You spoke about that at Oregon State game. That was a game I think was one of my first starts. Was actually my second start at Oregon State. I think my first one was Washington, and I had my biggest run in my career at the U of A, a 63-yard run. I got caught on the 1-yard line. How was it as a Tucson kid? Having that experience of playing for the U of A. I got a son now. He's a Tucson kid.
Yeah.
He's dreaming of that. How was that experience, coming from all that adversity and making it to that?
Yeah, I think that every kid that across this country, if you love football, that's your dream, is to actually get out there someday. And I might poison viewership here, but I got to tell you, KE, I was raised as a Sun Devil, and that's not my fault, but my dad was an ASU alum. So I grew up going to ASU games, and supporting the Mustard and Rust. And then when the opportunity came and I had to choose which route to go, I was living down in Tucson, and I know it sounds so crazy, but man, I hate ASU. I bleed red and blue through and through, and I think that even made it more special to come down and then change allegiance, so to speak, and see what kind of family U of A football is. And you know this, that we've got guys that it doesn't matter if they played 10 years ahead of us or 10 years behind us. Once you put that uniform on, you are a Wildcat for life. And I love that portion of this program. I think we all connect to the program. But to be that college or to be that high school kid that had a dream, again, I had some injuries, I had some things. And then to know, like, my goodness, I'm playing football with Kelvin Efon. I wear the same helmet as Chris McAllister. I get to go out to the middle of the field and do a coin toss with these guys that are the best of the best. And hopefully at that point in time, can I inspire some other young kid to keep chasing their dream? And I think that's important, that, if you got dreams, the only time the dream ends is if you stop chasing it.
Yes, sir. Barry Baker is our guest in the Captain's Corner, brought to you by Jack Ferrier Tire and Auto. Jack Ferrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. You brought up that you played for Coach Aquina. Tell us how important he is to the U of A program right now, and how important he was to you. I was the defensive back in that room with Coach Aquina, and he's one of the most passionate people, not just coaches, that I ever been around, and a great motivator of men. What are some of the things that you learned from him, and what are some of the things that you think that he's giving these young men now?
Well, if you're a Wildcat fan and you ever have the opportunity to listen to Coach do one of his press conferences when they have the media sessions, you will leave there better for it. You're not going to find someone that knows X's and O's to his equivalency, but it doesn't really matter if you know X's and O's if you can't get it passed on and relate to the kids. And I think that's the thing, is that he always told us tough love, because if he can break you down, imagine what the wide receiver is going to do to you when you're out there on an island against him. And so he demands perfection, and the film sessions that you go through with him, it's the little things that add up to the big things. But I think that he's a great communicator. And like I said, you're going to get honesty with him. And his allegiance is to the team. His allegiance is to winning. And he's going to give this squad the best opportunity to do that. There's no favorites with him. You're either doing what you're expected to do and coached to do, or you're not. And so I think that's one thing, that there's no agendas with him. But I love, again, what he I guess produces when it comes to young men, because it's a results game. But he also understands that you are an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, and he's going to give you those life lessons. And so for me, I can go back to that Sunday night when I'm thinking I'm supposed to be starting the next game. You know, he was honest with me. And I think that's, at the end of the day, if someone is honest with you, then it earns that respect between both people. And so I can guarantee you that he's continuing to be honest with the kids that he coaches. He's going to be honest with the coaches that he is in those, meeting rooms with. And I just, if you've played for him, if you've been on a team with him, you got to go for the jugular. You can still hear it 25 years later. And the pregame speeches that he would give are rivaled only by you, Kelvin. The two of you, right, there was never going to be a time that we came out flat. I can tell you that.
Man, I tell you, man, he's one of my favorite. That's for sure. We have several injuries in that defensive backfield right now, and Coach Tomey, always got to bring him up. But Coach Tomey was the next guy up. Next guy grabbed a flag. I was telling the story about what Coach Tomey was talking about. The Buffalo Soldiers and one guy falling and grabbing a flag. Tell me a little bit about what you think, how we can overcome those injuries in the defensive backfield.
Well, I think that's real important to Coach Akina's system, is that we had tests that we had to take on the game or on personnel, on formations, on tendencies before the actual game took place. So when you were in the hotel that Saturday morning, if you didn't pass your test, then you were not going to play. And we had that happen one time, if you'll remember. Oh, yeah. And so that's the thing with him, is that if you don't know what your assignment is out there, then obviously you cannot help the team. But his mantra is the fact that it is same thing, next man up. So whether you're a safety or a corner or a nickel, everyone knows what everyone's job is. And if you're the backup strong safety, but the backup cornerback is better than you, then the backup cornerback is going to be the guy that plays. And so that's why it's very, very important for our squad. He plays the next best defensive back. And we've already seen that with Gunner, with Dalton, with Traden. The three of those guys at each different times this year have been banged up. And so now you got Genesis Smith coming in and playing at a high level. You got Boss that came in, had a bad game against Kansas State, played great last week against Utah. So, against Texas Tech. So, that's the thing, is that when your number is about to be called, he's going to expect the fact that you know what you're supposed to do, and then you go out there and trust the fact that you're going to do it, and that your teammates are going to do what they're supposed to do. And when 11 guys do what they're supposed to do, you get winning football.
Yeah, we've had a couple tough losses this year, and I want you to tell me a little bit of what you think about this team as a whole. What do you see from this team coming into the season? I was thinking 8-4, at worst 7-5. You're coming into a new conference. You have new coaches. It takes time for them to get everything incorporated. I think the offense is still trying to figure that out. What do you think this season? What did this team look like to you?
Yeah, for me, 8 to 9 wins is really what the goal was, because and again, this is not to say our opinion is more important than somebody else's, but you know this, Kelvin, because you went to an NFL training camp. But when you lose Morgan Cowing, Tanner McLaughlin, Michael Wiley, DJ Williams, that is 5 guys that are right now on NFL practice squads or active rosters. Right. There is a difference between Rhino and Morgan, and that's just the hard fact. And there is a difference between Jay Cowing and Patterson. So when you lose NFL productivity, that is not something that is just replaceable in 5 weeks. So I think that expectations are always so focused on who's coming back, but the holes and who we lost are obviously much, equal to, if not more. That being said, we're not getting out-coached. There's little things here and there that we've got to clean up, but we are close. And when you have more yardage, more first downs, more time of possession, every single thing in that game against Texas Tech was better for us except one thing, which was the score. And the only reason the score wasn't the right way is because we just have that untimely penalty. We have the busting, whatever it may be, a missed block, this or that. But those are things that you can clean up, and I absolutely expect that we will clean them up. And Coach Brennan is hell-bent on cleaning them up. When you make a change in play callers, when you clean up the penalties after 3 games, if people can't see the fact that we're working towards making this thing better, then they're not looking. And the Internet's a tough place to go after losses, but for people to say after 5 games that Brennan is outmatched and that he's not the guy, I will tell you that is just flat out absurd.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's angering. It is angering, Glenn,
yes,
correct?
Absolutely.
And so, and people need to realize that. In Coach Fish's second year, we were terrible in the red zone. And what was his goal all off season? He talked about red zone, red zone, red zone. Okay, we had that same problem this last game against Texas Tech, but can we give the guy a chance to fix it, or are we just going to say after 5 games, oh yeah, we're done, we're out on this guy? So we as Tucson, we've got to pack the house, and we've got to give the guy the support that he needs to put his stamp on the program. And that is my ask as an alum, and I would say that to everybody. You have to give a guy a chance. He's had 0 recruiting classes here, right? 0.
Right.
The class was filled up before he was even our head coach. So we gotta be able to say, in all reality, let's give the team what we can. Let's get there. And I think 8 to 9 wins is still possible if we can catch fire and work some things out on offense.
Man, well, I appreciate you, Barry, being the pinch hitter, being the next guy up, as Coach Tomey usually say. I knew I could depend on you. Our thanks to Arizona's our thanks to Arizona 99 defensive back Barrett Baker for joining us this week in the Captain's Corner.
Bear down, fellas.
Right out.
Bear down, Barrett.
And that's your Captain's Corner with Kelvin Efon. Captain's Corner is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
My drains are clogged again. What should I do? Don't let those clogged drains scare you. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing has a $79 drain and faucet diagnostic service special. We'll get you back in the flow. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Wildcat Nation. Are you ready? Touchdown, Arizona. Gunnar Maldonado. Noah straight back to throw. Got him in. Hot. Touchdown, Arizona. He's sacked by Jacob Manu. And it's picked off. Peteroa McMillan. Let's go. Tear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to kickoff for today's Arizona football game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. To throw on first down. Fires the pass, caught by McMillan, loses his man to the 45, down to the 40, breaks free to the 30, 25-20, jumps to his right, he's near the 15, 1st and 10 Arizona.
That's the T-Mac that we saw in week 1, getting the ball in the open field, making people miss, and just accelerating upfield. Big time play at Teteroa McMillan to get Arizona in scoring position once again.
Now, Todd mentioned that, T-Mac trying to make something happen. He just did.
Isn't he just amazing in the open field, the way that he can make that move and guys will miss, and he can turn some of those catches into positive extra yardage, yards after catches, we like to call it. We have not seen a lot of guys that have that ability just to stop on the dime and guys kind of go right by him, and he turns and goes the other way for another 15 yards.
I think he's gotten a lot faster. As far as sticking it in the ground and accelerating. He's really gotten a lot, because with his freshman year, he wasn't that. I don't think he wasn't that fast. But now I think they've done a great job of the strength and conditioning staff have done a great job of just getting him to be able to accelerate on that first step.
All right, it's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day coming to you live from Corbett's off of 4th. Stop on by. We are open for business down here. Lots of pickleball to be played on this gorgeous fall afternoon. Hopefully the temperatures are starting to creep down into a more normal, comfortable area, especially since we've got a 1 o'clock kickoff coming up at home.
Next week, it's supposed
next
to be 70,
Saturday.
79.
Oh,
78.
79 they're saying? Okay, well, because about 3-4 days ago, we were still looking at early 90s next Saturday, but that's pleasant.
That's what we need, though. We need that early 90s. I hate to be
75.
75. Oh, man.
That's chilly.
That's too good for Colorado.
Yeah, exactly.
Colorado, they used to that cold up there. I want it to be hot as possible, as long as it don't bake us. Right. But for the team,
90 would be nice.
90 would be nice because for the team, that would give us a little advantage over a team in Colorado that's used to great weather.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at what we've got coming up for you in this final hour of our show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, you heard that catch by Tetero McMillan. We'll talk about this offense continuing to try to get more people involved other than Tetero McMillan. We've got our keys to the game straight ahead. Best bets. The line, as we mentioned on this one, has fallen down to 2.5 from as high as 3.5. So we'll see where that sets. And Glenn House still has the lead right now by 2 games over Kelvin and I in terms of the best bets. Also, our pest of the game still coming up straight ahead. We'll tell you who that Cougar is going to be that could get underneath the skin of the Wildcats today. But again, one of the things that this offense has been dealing with is trying to get others involved. And we heard from Matt Atkins this week, and he talked a little bit about that. How do we get other guys the ball that aren't named Tetero McMillan?
One of my biggest emphasis right now is distribution of the football and making sure that the football is going to the right guy because it should. Now, T is, I can't tell you how stupid I'd be if we don't try and profile T in this offense, right? Like he deserves that, and we should be doing that. But we need to make sure that ball is being distributed across everyone, whether that's running backs, tight ends, the other wide receivers. For us to be the healthiest offensively, we have to get the ball distributed more.
Well, we've seen, obviously, Kean Burnett the last 2 games has started to get more touches as he has gotten healthy. He's been a little bit banged up, and he's feeling better and getting the ball more. It starts there. Then you've got to find that second big-time receiver. Is that going to be Montana Lamoni is correct? Is that going to be Jeremiah Patterson? We thought that might be Malachi Riley, when we went into fall camp, but he battled injuries in camp, and then he got hurt in the Kansas State game, and now he's out for the season. So you've got to now start to find who that other wide receiver is going to be in this mix as well.
Well, I think that, saying and doing are 2 different things, that you're going to get those guys involved. But a lot of it, I think, is not getting involved as much as seeing them getting involved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Seeing them over the middle, seeing the open receivers over there. So that has to go. I think they're trying to get them in there, but Noah's got to see a little bit better. And I understand. I think he's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying about Noah. But he's just got to get better of seeing the field. If he sees the field, I think all those guys will be involved, and we ain't going to have this conversation.
Quali Connolly right now is your second leading receiver.
And I was going to say, a lot of times people forget that running backs are receivers also. And I think that we need to use those guys even more right now, because I think if you have to have those DBs and those linebackers coming down on those running backs because you're afraid of them getting the ball and making big plays downfield once they get it in the swing routes and the bubble routes and the screens and they're able to get upfield, now it can open up more opportunities for the receivers downfield. So I think some check downs for the 5 to 10-yard gains, that'll pull those guys down to the line of scrimmage a little bit more to open up some downfield opportunities for all the receivers.
Before we're going to hear from Alexander Deuce. Alec Deuce, who's a kid from up in the Phoenix area, transferred back from Northwestern, who is starting. But before we hear from him, I want you to hear from Quali Connolly, who talked this week about his role in the passing offense.
Most of the plays were just check down reads, so Noah was going through his progression and just checking down to me. But I was just making sure I'm like a valuable option to Noah. So I'll do my protection and get out and make sure I'm there if Noah needs me.
And that's one of the things I was talking about. I mean, he checked out on that play where Noah threw the interception in the end zone. Noah's got to be able to see that right there.
And I played with Ortiz Jenkins when he was just a young little freshman quarterback. And I used to always remind him when we broke the huddle, I'd be like, I'm on your left side.
Yeah.
I might give him a little nudge and let him. I'm on your right side.
Yeah.
So
Where you at?
If you don't see nothing, you don't got to throw it up. Just throw it over there to me, and I'll get you a completion and get us a few yards there. So, as a running back, sometimes you got to remind them every now and then. You don't want to bother them. But you want to remind them, like, hey, you can trust me, man. I got sure hands. So, I just think that he just needs to know that he has help.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I've said I'm open. I didn't get that many balls. I tell him I'm open, Al Jenkins. I said I'm open, man. Just hit me. It's like, come on. We always done that.
Coach Baby used to tell me, Kevin, quit doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we had some people open downfield. OJ looked once and just throw it to me. He said, Kevin, man, we had the second read, and he just dumped it down. Yeah. So I had to stop doing it. But, early in his career, I just wanted to make sure that he didn't feel pressured, to have to make the big play every time.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing a lot of shuffling at the guard spot, moving guys in and out, different rotations there. We saw Joey Capper get his first snaps last week, the transfer from the University of Nevada, and you heard Coach talk a little bit earlier about that. Alexander Deuce has been in the starting lineup now for a majority of the season since early on. He is a transfer from Northwestern where he played last year, and Alexander Deuce is the epitome of the type of kid from Arizona that I've always talked about. The kid that's going to, he wants to spread his wings and go somewhere else, but that's the kid you got to get back if it doesn't work in the Big Ten, if it doesn't work in the SEC. Right. You want to make sure you can get that kid back when he makes the decision to transfer out and come here to Arizona, a redshirt freshman who could be one of your starting interior linemen for the next 3-4 years.
Well, I was going to say that has a lot to do with your recruiting while he was in high school.
Right.
Yes, you put a lot of energy in recruiting those guys, and when they go out of state, I mean, now to me as a coach, you almost tell them, hey, if you make another decision, just know you can always come home.
Exactly.
You can always come home. That's a part of the recruiting pitch because you understand as a lot of these coaches are former players, you understand when some of the bigger names and the bigger programs, offer you that opportunity that you may take it, but you also understand that you may go in there and be 4th or 5th string for a couple years and may need a situation where you can, come back home. And as a university and as a coach, you want to make sure that you're welcoming because a lot of those guys can come back and help you.
Yeah, there's guys that like in Oregon too, You can come back home,
right?
And they get no run, So there's and I can't name no names.
And I say, and it's a different coaching staff because they had an issue with the coaching staff, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different coaching staff. So maybe things could be different if they don't work out. Let's say that.
Yeah, Alexander Deuce, and you love his size, 6'7", 332 pounds. That's exactly what you want on the interior of that offensive line. Let's hear from Alexander and what he says has allowed him to have the chance to quickly move up the depth chart here at Arizona.
There's a lot of obstacles, a lot of adversity, and sometimes in the moment it's a little too much. But you kind of just lean on the guys you have next to you, and honestly, that's what helped me the most, especially the O-line. And I think my physicality and my confidence while playing. Before I was very hesitant with my game, but I think now as I've gotten more comfortable, and especially since I've gotten snaps, I've been more sure of what I'm doing.
And he's got two guys that he's in between in Josh Baker and Jonas Savianaya that are two quality guys to learn from on the inside of that offensive line on that right side there. All right, let's get another break in here. When we come back, we've got our pest of the game. We'll hear some more from the Arizona Wildcats defense on the next men up because they've got to make some changes there due to injuries. Also, we'll hear from Brent Brennan on what they're trying to focus on in the red zone as well. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We're live. Corbett's on 4th. Stop by, get some pickleball in. They've got 38 TVs here, so you can watch the game coming up at 1 o'clock. And with Calvin Efon and Glenn Howe, my name is David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. More than a window store.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan.
Set up from the shotgun, maybe checking off at the line. Play clock down to 4.
Gordon steps back. Here's the snap. Back to throw. Here comes the rush. Flushed out of the pocket. They almost got him. Rolling. Now he's sacked back inside the 10-yard line. The Wildcats did not give up on that play, and it paid off for a big loss. It'll be 4th and forever. And it was it Stanley? Yep. Wow. Big play.
Stanley T, as we like to shorten that to, Stanley Tuolfo, who has sacks now in back-to-back games for the Arizona Wildcats since coming in for the injured Chuba Maye. Chuba Maye doubtful for today's ball game, so Stanley likely to get some more run. And that's interesting because, and we asked the coach about that earlier in the DK with BB segment, that we're seeing more disruption from that defensive tackle position from Stanley T than we did from Chuba Maye. Two different style players, though, in those two.
Yeah, there's two different styles because Stanley's a little faster, I think, than Chuba's got a little extra baggage that he's got to carry along with him. And Stanley's a little bit quicker, and he's causing problems for them guards. The guards, you always think that maybe they're not as athletic as those tackles and everything, and those guys up front, the 3 technique and the 1 and the 2s, those guys are a little bit more athletic now. They're bigger, and Stanley's been doing a great job.
Well, again, and that's another example of when we talk about next man up in terms of ability on the field. He gets his opportunity. He's taking advantage of it now with sacks in back-to-back ball games. Genesis Smith and Chase Kennedy talked a little bit about that mentality from this defense this week.
I feel like a lot of dudes are doing good in the next man mindset, just trying to get in the film room more, trying to know what they're doing when they get out there. So I feel like they're taking it pretty well.
Yeah, and I will also say that the coaching staff, like Coach B and them, they've done a great job of just getting everybody ready and prepared, whether it be the starters, second string, scout team. Coach B always tells us that every job is important, so everybody's ready to step up when that moment comes. And unfortunately, we done had some people go down, but the next person always been ready, so we just moving from there.
Chase Kennedy, a guy who's providing some of that pressure off the edge. He and Trey Smith. Kennedy has started 4 of the 5 games this season, 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack. He's also broken up a pass and had a fumble recovery this season. So good to see Chase Kennedy kind of starting to be disruptive. You like to see that from a number of different guys, whether it's Stanley T, whether it's Chase Kennedy, whether it's Trey Smith, who obviously is, I think, is he not the national leader, I believe, in quarterback hurries with 9 this season.
Yeah, and he's playing better. Trey Smith has progressively gotten better. I think they really have nailed him on the film.
Right.
They really have nailed him on the film and said, listen, look at this, and he's correcting it. And that's a good athlete that really understands. And I tell you, that takes you to the next level, because if you see a guy and you're recruiting a guy playing on the next level and you can't get better every game, they're not seeing a progression, then you know what? They might not be high on you. Right. They really want you to be able to progress as you see your film and not make the same mistakes.
See now, and it's interesting. I just quoted that quarterback hurries stat, which is the one stat I think that is not accurately recorded on in terms of the folks at the actual ballpark, the stat staffs, because Pro Football Focus, we have him for 9. Pro Football Focus has him for 18 this season, and I mentioned that he was first. That's actually now 3rd nationally. So, but still a guy who's getting the ball, getting some pressure on the quarterback. And what you also like is I think I forget who they had at one of the sacks. I don't think it was Stanley T's. I think it was one of the other sacks. But he essentially set that up.
Yes.
With
Staying
his pressure
outside.
off the side,
yes.
forcing that quarterback last week back into the rest of the defensive line.
If that was the first week, he would have rolled out. He would have rolled out because he was going way inside, no contain. And, there's there's an assignment and alignment. That's what it is. Understand that. If you could do that, things are going to come for you.
Yeah.
They're going to come for you.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks running on the Wildcats, and I'm going to let you hear from Chase Kennedy again here because you've got a young man in Jake Ratzlaff who, for BYU, who I don't know that if he's as good as Avery Johnson, who we saw earlier this season, and the young man from New Mexico early as well. But he's a quarterback who can hurt you with his legs.
I think something that makes him similar to some of the quarterbacks we done played is just his ability to use his legs, and so as the D-line, we just got to know that we got to contain up front, whether that be the edges or the insides, just be disciplined with our rush lanes or whatever the case may be. And we've been doing a good job harping that on practice and just in meetings, so I feel like we're going to be ready for all that.
Shaking my head. That's right. That's what we needed. That's exactly what we needed. And I'm glad they're trying to. It's clicking. It's clicking. You notice that the defenses can progressively have gotten better. They've gotten better. Now we just need to have a really, really good game. When are we going to have that complete game? That's what we need. With a couple picks, without hitting the ball down.
Utah?
Yeah. Utah was all right.
Pretty close.
Utah was pretty close.
Yeah.
But we still should have had a couple more picks there.
I feel you.
So we got to be able to keep continuing and getting better on that.
All right, before we get to our pest of the game, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, who is going to be that pest for Utah, I should say for BYU today?
Who is the pest the Wildcats need to be free from to win today's game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. BePestFree.com.
All right, Glenn, go right ahead.
My pest of the game is going to be that quarterback, man.
Oh.
If we can shut him down,
Jake Ratzlaff.
Ratzlaff. Jake Ratzlaff. I think if we can make him get him under pressure, not let him beat us with his arm and his legs. If we can contain him, and then that running game, they got LJ. I tell you, LJ Martin. I saw him playing. He's a beast. He's pretty big. The big fella. He's a sophomore, but I think if we can shut him down, Jake Ratzlaff, I think we not make him beat us with his arm, I think we'll be all right.
All right, Kelvin.
Darius Lassiter, wide receiver. He's a kid from Chandler, Arizona. I always watch out for kids that's from the home state when you have to play against them. So he's a guy that I want to keep an eye on because he's the big play receiver for their team.
All right, well, I'm going to go with cousin Jack Kelly on the defensive side for BYU. He's their second leading tackler. He is tied for the team lead in tackles for losses. He leads the team with 3 sacks. They've got 11 as a team on the season this season, and we were just talking about quarterback hurries. They have him as 6, which means he probably has closer to 12.
Yeah.
And he's forced a fumble and recovered a fumble. So I'm going to go with cousin Jack Kelly as my pest of the game today on defense. And you mentioned guys from Arizona. We'll got to shout out our guy from South Point Catholic, Trayson Bourget, who is on this roster as the third-string quarterback for BYU. There were some rumblings, obviously. We haven't really talked a lot about Jake Ratzlaff so far in this program today. He is the first starting quarterback of Jewish faith in Division I this season, and today is Yom Kippur.
Yes.
And so traditionally, Jewish athletes don't compete during the Yom Kippur holiday Trek, which I believe is today and tomorrow. I think it was yesterday and today, actually, the 11th and the 12th. He had said all along and said last year that he would play if called upon. He would be there for his teammates. And we anticipate, we have not heard anything that he is not going to play today. We anticipate that he will play today. But just a little bit of an interesting dynamic there to have a Jewish quarterback at BYU, which is a predominantly Mormon school. And it was funny this week because one of the things he said that I thought was interesting, actually may have said this a couple weeks ago, but he talked about his decision to go to BYU, and he said, I wanted to go somewhere where I didn't have distractions, where I could concentrate on football and school. Well, for him, that works. Yeah. But he's got teammates on this roster. They got combined 62 kids.
Yeah.
So when you talk about there's a lot of distractions for a lot of these players on BYU because you got to go to class, you got to go to practice, and then you got to go home and take care of kids who I would imagine most of those kids are probably under the age of 4 years old.
Yeah, and I can imagine after practice when everybo's coming on the field, they come and meet their daddy,
right?
They come out there. So I'm sure they're very open to that, and that's a great atmosphere for family, though. I have to say,
you ain't got to worry about them getting in trouble at the club.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't gonna be at the club.
They ain't gonna be at the club.
No, not at all. All right, those are our pests for today.
That's our Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. BePestFree.com.
All right, we'll see if we can cash some tickets. Our best bets coming up, keys to the game, straight ahead. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Final segment coming up from Corbett's off 4th. Join us. Kelvin Efon, Glenn Howe. I'm David Kelly. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Come out to Dave & Buster's, the best place outside of the stadium to see the games this football season. Monday and Thursday, get all-you-can-eat wings with game card for $19.99. Sunday, get in on the chance to win a big game watch party at Dave & Buster's in front of the big screen, plus other big prizes and weekly winners. Join them now through October 22nd, all day, every day. They'll be offering $5 22-ounce drafts only at Dave & Buster's. Make Dave & Buster's your place to watch the games.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan.
So here's Lupin to attempt a 47-yard field goal. Almost dead center, just to the right of dead center. Ball down, the kick is up, it's got plenty of distance, and it is good for Tyler Loop, who's having an incredible senior season. Wildcats on the board with 22 seconds left here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, we talked to Brian Jeffries this week, and he is in his 37th season calling these games at the University of Arizona, and he said he has never seen a kicker like Tyler Loop in those 37 years, and that includes the guy who's going on, season number 20 in the NFL, in Nick Falk. He says that Tyler Loop has, in terms of leg strength on the collegiate level, tops them all. So it'll be interesting to see what that translates to when he gets to the next level. I don't want to see him have to kick 5 or 6 field goals today, but key field goals in key times, we definitely will continue to take that from Tyler Loop. Let's again, it's they're on the road. They've won a big game on the road in the hostile environment already this season, going to Utah and winning against the Utes. And Chase Kennedy and Genesis Smith both feel like this is a game in Provo where they can do that again.
You know, we know when we go into an opposing stadium on the road that sideline is all we got most of the time. Like, stadium not going to be filled with Arizona fans. Like, when we went to Utah, it was like one little section of it. So we know we all we got when we go on the road, and so that's how we play and that's how we look at it.
Yeah, like you said, just knowing a big thing we say is called lean on me. So just knowing we can lean on the teammate, knowing we can trust the person next to us.
All right, they'll have to do that today because there's going to be a whole lot of blue like there was a whole lot of black. Few blue
and white.
Absolutely, blue and white for sure. All right, let's find out how this game sizes up on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino.
Tucson. What are today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of the best bets in football this weekend. Today's best bets are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, I had written this in at 3 when I did the rundown, but as Glenn has said, it is down to 2.5. So we will play that number. U of A plus 2.5 is the play right now, and we'll start with Glenn Howell.
Well, I'm going to take the Cats here because I think we can win up there. I think if this team comes in and plays like they can, we don't know, what team's going to show up, but I think this team's going to show up. They're going to have a good game. If Noah plays just a little bit better, that's all. That's all we need. I think we can win this game, and I'll take that Arizona Cats and the 2.
So U of A plus 2.5. Kelvin.
Well, this is another game that I didn't have us winning early in the year, and I don't have us winning now. I think BYU is a veteran team, experienced team, and I'm optimistic because of the Utah win. But I still remember how we played at Kansas State on the road, so I don't know which team is going to show up. So I'm gonna have to go Utah.
All right, so BYU minus the 2.5,
Yes,
and I think I'm going to
do. When Vegas does that to us, man, I'm telling you, those guys will be keeping on building those buildings.
Right.
So I don't know.
All right, I'm going to also take BYU and lay the points there. In terms of the over/under, we've got 48.5. On this game. Is this going to be another low-scoring defensive battle that we've seen kind of from U of A, or is this going to be a game where the offenses finally come out to play underneath the sun? I tend to think it's going to stay defensive.
Yeah.
Both of these teams have really good defenses, so I'm going to play the under again at 48.5.
I'm taking the under, too.
Me too.
All right,
yeah,
so
I had to go under.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody
that was right at my number.
Everybody took the under last week, and that was definitely the play for sure. All right, so it's 2.5. Glenn is taking the 2.5, and Kelvin and I are laying BYU in the 2.5. Everybody is taking the under right now. Glenn Howe holds the lead through the first portion of the season as he is on top. In this battle of the picks. Those are your best bets?
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, let's hear from Matt Atkins once again, the passing game coordinator, tight ends coach. He talked this week about his feelings on what has led to the offensive struggles for the Wildcats offense.
You know, I think the biggest thing is consistency and attention to detail. If you have a play, you might have 7 details that are important to you executing that play. And on one rep, only 3 of them are important. And on the next rep, 3 other details are important, whether it's releases or depth or angle out or going eyes to tuck. And right now we are straining as a coaching staff to try and get as much detail into our players as possible. Because at some critical moments, that's not showing up. And so, you know, you look at, I think we had over 400 yards of offense in the last game. We were in the red zone. I cheated a little bit. I counted some of them. I got them to the 26 or the 27 as the red zone. We were in the red zone 7 times and only got 1 touchdown. And so we are doing good stuff. Like there are pockets in there where we are playing good football. It's just a matter of getting that more consistently.
Speaking of the issues in the red zone, and again, they were counting last week going inside the 25 versus the 20, so some extra red zone trips where they got close but couldn't come up with any touchdowns. Let's hear the head coach, Brent Brennan's thoughts on the struggles in the red zone against Texas Tech.
When we're down there, we gotta make people pay, and we didn't. A small detail, big impact. You know, one guy goes the wrong way, and they have an unblocked player at the point of attack. And so I think those things are fixable, and they're dead-ass serious about getting those things fixed.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right, let's find out what we think the Wildcats have to do to win this game today against BYU.
Wildcats fans, what are the big keys for today's game? Our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
Keys to the game. Let's start with Calvin Ifan on this one here.
All right, my keys to the game today is defense has to stop the run and make BYU one-dimensional. We can't let these guys have two-way goals where they're running and throwing and doing whatever they want to do. We have to load up and take that run away from them and force them to beat us in the passing game. Offense has to convert on third downs. We have to move the chains. It ain't always about a big play and scoring big touchdowns. It's about moving the chains and keep giving yourself opportunities to get that score. And then when we do get in the red zone, we have to get some touchdowns. I like the field goals. I like coming away with some points, but as you know, back in my day, I put that thing in the end zone. You know what I mean? So that's what I want from our guys, a little bit more physicality. Let's try to run the ball in there. Let's smash mouth it in there, and if we can't, let's be real smart about how we play action off of that to get our guys the ball.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
We talked last week about just kind of the commitment to the run game, and I'd like to see a combined 30 carries between Quali Connolly and Kedrick Risano in this ball game. And I think in terms of third down for me, I think I'm going to flip it over to the defense. You've got to stay strong on third down like you did last week against Texas Tech. This is not a very good third down offense in BYU, so don't let them move the chains and continue drives in that respect. And I'll go back to the issue that they had early in the season. You cannot let Jake Ratzliff get off running the football today against you in Provo, because if he does and he begins to light up that crowd with big runs, you're going to be in serious, serious trouble in trying to win in this hostile environment.
Well, for me, I'm going to be like that janitor with all them keys, okay? He's going to be shaking them keys. I got a lot of keys. Okay, first of all, my first key is that the offensive side of the ball, we have to get at least 35 runs this game. You look at the last five games, you got a win. We had only 26. We had 29. The loss, we had 19 carries. Utah, we had 30. Texas Tech, we have 30. I think we do much better when we're in that 35 and above range. I think we need to get up there in 35. Love to see 40. Okay, I like to see Conley get at least 20-plus carries. Okay, we have to be able to. Then we have to be really good on first down. What are we getting on first down? Are we getting 3 and 4 yards on first down so we can make it a little bit more easier on Noah? Give him a little bit more, not to panic and have to make that big play. So let's do really well on first down. And then the second thing we got to do, we got to get the ball out to everybody. Everybody's got to get, I want to see the tight end get more balls. I want to see shorter passes over the middle. We got to hit the middle of the field. Hit the middle of the field. On defensive side of the ball, need to have a great first down play. Don't get them in behind the chains. Don't let them get 3 to 4 yards on first down. We need to get a couple turnovers. In a big crowd like this turns the game around with the turnovers. We need a couple turnovers, and then also on special teams. Do not let them make a big play on special teams.
Oh, man, that's a lot of keys there. Yeah, a lot of keys.
I told you I was like the janitor. You know how he used to walk down the hall and you see him on that little with all the chains of the keys? He was shaking them up.
And done just in time for the outro.
Yeah.
Our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different. The dealership that is different.
All right, real quick, final thoughts.
Man, just come on up, man, because it's going to be a great environment. It's going to be packed. It's going to be nice. It's going to be beautiful. You'll look at that mountain up there. You're going to see everything. Have a good time. Just have some fun. Be excited coming out of the and elevation. J-Dub, you talked about the elevation. I think, you know what? I think that eliminates a little bit when you get in there, man.
Let's hear from Brent Brennan real quick on that.
I think elevation is one of those things that if you let it be an excuse, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got to plan it too. Like, it's just one of those things. And we're at a little bit of elevation here too. So, like, I think for our football team, it's not as big of a factor.
Weather's just an excuse, just like the pink locker room in Iowa. Right?
Yeah.
Like to thank everybody that was a part of these broadcasts here. We had Riley here. We had Monique. What's this young man's name right here we got here? Saul is here as well. Priscilla. Garrett's here. Shout out to Garrett. Garrett's going to be leaving us. This is his last game day with us. He is moving on to bigger and better things. So congratulations, Garrett. It's Garrett Gillespie from Marana High School. It's been awesome working with you. We'll have the reaction coming up later tonight. So join us. Coming up next, number 14 BYU and Arizona. Enjoy the game, everybody. Bear down.
Bear down.
Window Depot coverage of Arizona football continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet.